Arnold Palmer was born on September 9th, 1929 in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, the first child of Deacon and Doris Palmer. Some of Arnold's earliest memories were riding around the golf course on a tractor with his father. The Palmer family lived near what is now the fifth hole of the Latrobe Country Club, but in those days, living on a golf course wasn't in style. Even though Deacon was the resident golf pro, he was regarded as just another employee by the club members, and Arnold was only allowed to play very early or very late when no members were on the course. By the time he was 3 years old, his father had built him a special set of clubs and began teaching him how to swing. From that time, Arnold seemed to be more interested in golf than anything else.
I could work on the golf course, and when I had a few moments, hit golf balls or go out on the golf course. And I was restricted to certain times on the course and playing with the caddies for the best part.
Arnie wanted to play. That's all he wanted to do. He wanted to play golf. He would do anything to play golf. He for a while he worked on the grounds. For a while he worked in the pro shop. A short period of time in each instance. They rarely worked out for him because, again, his appetite for playing was never satisfied. All he wanted to do was hit golf balls.
I played by myself a lot. And I remember my father always said, well, just make par your opponent and you'll have all the competition you need. It was fun for me. I had some success early, and that inspired me to work harder at the game. And of course, my mother was a lot of inspiration for that. She encouraged me and didn't mind taking me on these trips. But it was difficult, as I said, in the early days, simply because the money was we didn't have a lot of money, and we didn't have money to spend for me playing golf. So I earned that working on the golf course. And I remember I started for about 25 cents an hour, worked in the grounds in the morning, drove tractor, cut greens, and then at noon went to the pro shop and stayed there until all the golfers were off the golf course, and that was usually dark in the evening. I used to get in trouble a lot, and got in trouble because if there wasn't anyone around, I'd lock the pro shop up and go out and hit golf balls, and got caught a few times, and of course the penalty was very severe.
As an international celebrity and captain of one of the most sophisticated private business jets in the world, Arnold Palmer has had the privilege of traveling the globe, experiencing the best that the planet has to offer. Yet when tournaments are completed and commitments fulfilled, it's always back to the comfort of his childhood home.
I think as a little boy, when he'd come home from college, from the Coast Guard, and again, he came home to be with my dad and to play golf. My parents, both my parents and us, all of us. He came home, and he went to a lot of effort to come home. I mean, sometimes it was a big deal to get here.
Late 60s, early 70s, specialty steel was in trouble in this country. And so Latrobe Steel was looking for ways of cutting their expenses, one of which was the country club. And they knew that Arnie might be interested, so they came to him and offered to sell the club to him. And he agreed that he would buy it if they would call in collect all the stock from there were some individual stockholders as well as a steel company, which held most of the stock, the majority of the stock. Said he would buy it if, in fact, he could get 100% stock, because he did feel like he wanted to be the sole owner so that he could do the things that he wanted to do to upgrade the club and bring it back to where it was. And of course, as it turned out, much more than it was before. So they agreed to do that and sold the club to him, and it was closed in 1971, September of 1971.
He's just one of the guys here. It's just, to them, it's Arnie or Deke's boy, It's some of the members that still go back that far. It's just Deke's son. But he comes and has lunch, and just like anybody else, it would be just like you or I going in and having lunch and, hi, how are you? And people that he knows, and how's your son or daughter? And you playing golf today? And who are you playing with? And the members are used to what happens. Everything is with Mr. Palmer, the excitement that happens with Mr. Palmer. They're used to that, and they expect that, and they allow him to do the things he needs to do on those days that he does it. And they're not, if he has guests, then they'll leave him alone. And if he's by himself, then they know just to go up and say hi, or he expects them to. He would be disappointed if they don't. And if they don't, someone that he knows and doesn't come and say something to him, he'll go after him. He'll call him. What are you doing? What have you been up to? Why aren't you working? Those kind of things.
Although the winter months are spent at Bay Hill in Orlando, Florida, it is Latrobe that the Palmer family calls home. Living in the home that they purchased in 1958, Arnold and Winnie enjoy the peace and beauty that is Latrobe and western Pennsylvania.